I'm going to be talking to you guys today about an African American who got murdered on May 25th of this year in Minnesota. The African American who was murdered by a white cop, his name was George Floyd. Shortly after 8 p.m. on Memorial Day of this year, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Minneapolis Police Department officers responded to a forgery in progress, but George had not noticed that the $20 bill that he was giving the cashier was counterfeit. So then the officer, Derek Chauvin, forcefully removed George out of his car and slammed him onto the ground. And then Chauvin started to apply pressure to George's neck by his knee. George was pleading for his life by saying, "Please, please, please, I can't breathe. Please, man." But Chauvin never got up, even though George was kept pleading. This isn't the 1960s or 1991. Slavery ended in America on December 18th, 1965. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech on August 28th, 1963. On March 3rd, 1991, in the early morning, Rodney King was speeding, but even though he was speeding, he never gave the officers the right to manhandle Rodney. Also, Rodney was kicked, stomped, taunted, and threatened. All of these things was done by white officers. After all of that, Rodney had to was taken to the hospital in Los Angeles because he had suffered from fracture. He had a fractured facial bone, a broken right ankle, multiple bruises and lacerations. Rodney said he suffered 11 skull fractures, permanent brain damage, broken bones, broken teeth, kidney failure, and he had emotional and physical trauma. And now I'm going to read something about Moses from the Bible. Chapter 2. Passages 1 through 10. And it says, hold on, wrong Bible. This is the one I'm wanting. Now a man from the house of Levi went and took his wife, a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that the that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. And when she could hide him no longer, she took for him a basket and made with bulrushes and daubed it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child and placed it among the reeds by the riverbank. His sister stood in the distance to see what would be done to him. Now the daughter of the Pharaoh came to bathe at the river, while her young women walked beside the river. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her servant women, and she took it. When she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby was crying. She took pity on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to the Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go call a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" And the Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the girl went and called the child's mother, and the Pharaoh's daughter and her take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages. So the woman took the child and nursed him. When the child grew older, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses because she drew him out of the water. But what that passage right there is saying is that the Pharaoh he felt threatened by the male babies. All male babies. So that's my rant for today. Bye.